We are live. Good morning, everyone. I'm Polly. This is Patty.
Hi.
The usual and not so usual. We've got Christian here,
Hey,
head of design, and Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah helps Christian with design as well. So, how was your long weekend, guys?
Great.
How was yours, Polly?
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you. I was in Byron Bay.
Bit of a road trip?
Yeah, road trip. Yeah, long road trip, but
What happened in Byron Bay?
lots of drinking.
Oh,
Some festival, why not?
bit of relaxing.
Yeah. What did you do?
Nice. I kicked back, mainly just took it easy in Sydney. Bit of family time, bit of time with some friends.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a beautiful weekend, so got some swings in as
It was
well.
amazing.
Felt very long. We're looking down.
Yeah.
Not long enough.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, this session, it's actually not our typical webinar training session. Today we're talking about how we design Streamtime. And that's why we've got Christian here. He's our head of design. And Sarah, they will talk to us about the processes, the principles, and what is the thinking behind designing Streamtime.
Yeah. We've doubled our team today, so we thought we'd move downstairs, and it's quite nice. We're on a couch, so it'll be a bit of a relaxed conversation, I think. We want to show you guys some stuff at the end after we talk through a bit how we do things, why we do things, and kind of digging into that process and understanding some of the challenges that kind of are involved there.
Yeah.
But we're keen to show you some of the things that are on the roadmap, some of the things that these guys have been working really hard at over the last couple of months, and some stuff that's we're probably going to be able to see in Streamtime by the end of the year. So
super exciting.
It's pretty exciting.
Before we start, just a bit of a housekeeping, guys. So if you wanted to ask any questions, just use that ask a question side of the webinar tool that we use, and feel free to introduce yourself. Say where you work, what you do. Say hi. We're keen to know who is attending. But yeah, should we start?
Yeah, first cab off the rank. I've got a question for you guys. What you got? Let's start with why. So why do we create Streamtime? We currently exist in a market that's so heavily saturated. What are the problems that we're looking to solve that others aren't?
Good question, Benny. Well, why do we exist? Well, because all the other tools out there aren't very good, and we have an awesome tool. And we've got an interesting philosophy behind that tool, why it's built, the way it's built. And I think the great thing that Sarah and I bring to Streamtime is we've been there in agencies, working day to day, just using horrible software. And we know the pains and the trials and tribulations that our users go through. So we definitely bring a bit of empathy into the team to solve some of those problems. So yeah, I mean, just very bad experiences using this stuff.
And where would you say that pain really lies, or when it comes to software, what is it that you want to improve, or what's the first thing that you would look to improve as a designer?
Well, I think. Do you want to take this?
You can go.
I'll keep going. You add.
Kick off.
First of all, the user experience is I just remember using these programs that just look terrible. So as a designer, you always want to use beautiful software, but you also want it to be really powerful and really intuitive. And the software that I experienced in my time in agencies just was such a struggle. And so basically, you're working away. You've got to fill out your timesheet. You struggle just even logging onto the system, and then you log into the system, and then it's an awful experience. And you're doing this while you're trying to be creative, while you're trying to get on with your work, and it just takes you out of that creative headspace. And suddenly you're in this world where you're struggling to just do these basic admin tasks that you've been asked to do by your studio manager or whatever. It's totally ruined. You've forgotten what you're working on. You've forgotten all your ideas. You're frustrated. You've taken you completely out of the creative flow. So one of the big things we wanted to do was remedy that, and make sure that our users have a great experience. Make sure we don't interfere with their day, and we just really light touch. If you're a designer working in the studio, make sure that it's just a bit of a joy to use. And yeah, why we used to working with amazing design tools, so why shouldn't admin tools be amazing as well?
Yeah, I think that links back to the first question, which is why do we have Streamtime when there is such a saturated market for project management? And for us, Customers tell us that the adoption rate's really high. Designers enjoy using it. So people are actually having a much better experience in the studios. And aside from that, the other part of the program, which is aimed towards business owners and project managers, everything's much more simplified and not overcomplicated. Like you'll see this kind of vomit of fields and buttons and things to fill out in most other software. But what we bring to the table is a really powerful tool that is simplified and still as useful and intuitive as those other tools that look like, I don't know, how would you? Like
Grey, lots of buttons, lots of
All the
cell fields.
features.
So many fields.
And a beautiful picture.
And I like what you said that you would always want to stay in your creative space. And the thinking behind designing Streamtime is for the creatives to stay creative all the time.
Yeah.
So that's another reason, I guess.
And I think also like we live in this world where like the ubiquity of like our phones, like we experience amazing design all the time around us. Like we use these amazing apps that are beautiful, intuitive, seamless, and they give us an amazing experience. So I think people now just expect good design. Other products that our competitors haven't kept up, and I think that's definitely one of our competitive advantages.
We also like to think of the business as a whole, so not just each task and each project, but how can we help you make your business run better? From a holistic point of view, which is, it's a really big undertaking, and it's not something that's easily solved with tech, but something that we're always striving towards as a purpose for the whole product.
And I suppose it kind of links into the fact that you want Streamtime to be a light and easy tool to use, but obviously the people make up such a big part of these businesses, and ensuring that, what's our role to play when designing a tool that these teams are going to be using. Would you say that keeping those people at the forefront throughout that entire process is key?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like the term user-centric, like it gets thrown around a lot, but we definitely practice it here. Like we bring empathy, but from our previous experience in studios and agencies, but we don't rest on our laurels, and we don't just assume that we know what's best. We're out there, we're doing user research. So every kind of piece of design work that we do now, we start with user research. We go out and interview people using the software. We find out their kind of frustrations, their wants, their needs, what we do well, what we don't do well, and we're not afraid of criticism or honest feedback. In fact, we welcome it, and then we use that. We use those insights and try and uncover meaningful insights, and that then informs the design, like our ideation and our concepts, and through the design stages into the final delivery.
We're also really collaborative as a team. So when Polly or Patty will speak to a customer that has a particular thing that they're not having the best experience with, they'll probably pull us into the conversation or make a note of it and tell us. We might then follow up with a different kind of call. And so similarly, the whole team kind of gets involved with that sort of talking to customers part of the research, which I think is really valuable, because we're not siloed and losing bits of conversation and insights from in different places.
I guess it makes me want to ask this question, and this is the question that's been bugging me before I came to Streamtime, and I'm thinking, how easy would it be to just add in the tools, the features that people ask for it, just anytime? What are the dangers of just adding them in without thinking why?
Well, I think it comes back to, as that kind of classic Henry Ford quote, if I ask people what they wanted, they'd tell me faster horses. It's like, if we listened to everyone and just did what people said, we'd end up with like a bit of a bloated product, and we don't want to bloat the product out. We don't want like just loads of features. So it's about listening to the users, but drilling into like what is the frustrations that are coming out of that request, like what are they actually trying to solve. They might be giving us people do give us solutions, but we won't actually get to like what are the frustrations, and then we can try and solve them in our own way. Maybe what they've suggested is actually like a good suggestion, and it's great because we've got a engaged design community using our products. So the suggestions can be really good, but other times it's like just making sure that we kind of solve it in our own way, and we like to think we can put like a really creative spin on things as well.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was about to say that we might get a ton of feature requests that are all solving the same problem.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of design and development and kind of research time to implement all these different feature requests when actually the problem's the one thing. And what's the best way to solve that problem in as Christians? So just basically backing up what you said. Sorry, buddy, go on. Did you have another
That
question?
was some great backup. You really supported Christian's point. But I'm interested to know, what point does that design solution emerge? Is it always clear and evident when it does? How often do you feel you need to go through the process of research, start, ideating, I suppose, what the solution might look like, perhaps testing that with users and then identifying further problems with that? Is it always clear when that solution comes, or?
No.
And I think that's the great. So up front we do user research, but then once we've actually designed a solution, then we test it with our users, and we want to see what is what we've designed. Does it solve their problems? Does it actually work? Does it work? But is it actually usable? All that kind of stuff. So you're right. We might get to a solution which we think is like brilliant, but until we put it out there into the real world, get real users' feedback, we actually can't say like whether it's been successful or not.
We also do a tech review with the development team as well to see what's actually feasible within the product that's already started. So there's a bunch of, I don't know, I think of it as an octopus, a bunch of tentacles going into different.
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
But speaking of development team, how does your work align with the developers?
Well, I think that one of the things I love about working here is that you get to work basically work next to the dev team.
Yeah, we all sit in one.
We all sit in one. Yeah, we all sit up there.
They're hiding behind their screens at the moment.
I can see the legs.
Yeah, and it's very collaborative. Like everyone's very kind of open-minded, and yes, it's just an amazing way to work. It's not like we're doing design work and then handing it off to some offshore development company or a couple of developers in another office. It's side by side, like working like day in day out.
For sure, and you can really track the progress of a new project, And even me, I'm a customer success team with Patty. I'm sitting just there, a bit further away from them, but all I have to do is just walk, and I'll see all their notes and stuff that I put on the wall. It's amazing to see that, we're actually progressing. We are moving every day. Only if we had more time in the day.
And in terms of the process, what are the greatest challenges when it comes to being a designer at Streamtime?
Oh,
I think it kind of comes back to, is there a clear point where you're like, oh, that's it, eureka moment. If there isn't that, or you think it's that and then it's not that, I guess the challenge is always to keep an open mind and when to make decisions on something and to keep exploring, I guess.
Yeah. Aaron always likes to say, what's the definition of done? There's like so much stuff we want to do, but obviously there's a fairly small team. So we need to like narrow in on the right things. And then, you want to obviously like craft stuff and make it beautiful and make it like just amazing before you release it. But sometimes there's more value just getting stuff out there into the real world, getting people to use it and then getting feedback and having that kind of iterative design process up and running. So it's always a bit of a trade-off as well between what we want to do and should we just do a little bit of that and get it out there and get people using it.
Yeah, prioritization of all the different things that we have to juggle.
And staying focused,
For
I
sure.
imagine, on one particular project at a time and ensuring that that's kind of seen through to the end.
Yeah. Well, we've generally got like quite a few different projects going on. Some projects are like in early research stage, some stuff's like in the design phase, and some stuff's like in the development phase where we're actually working with the developers to kind of finish off stuff and get it released. So
And it kind of has to always continue in that way so that we're always knowing what we're working on next. We always know what the dev team are working on. Otherwise, we'll end up creating sort of robots for ourselves.
Yes, for sure.
So we're going to be in Brisbane So
We are.
we're going to the design conference, and you guys are going to be talking.
We are. We've got a talk Saturday, June 1st. Sarah and I are talking about how to design a 10 out of 10 product.
Awesome.
Bit of a tooting our own horn there. But
Yeah, like, you're on the webinar, so you clearly are interested.
Paddy, TDC discounts if people want to come.
That's a good point. There's a coupon, Streamtime, the capital S, like the name of our product. If you put that when you're checking out on the TDC's shop, I suppose, when you're buying tickets, you'll receive a 20% discount. So if any of you here attending today are going to be in Brisbane, end of May, start of June, drop that one into your cart and save some money.
Yeah, we're looking
And
forward
come
to it.
see us, say hi. We'll have a stall there. We'll have some merch.
Yeah, with new merch. Oh, talking of new merch.
Oh yeah.
We've got some.
Awesome
we're working on
designs.
some designs for t-shirts. So there is an Instagram story. Just visit our profile at Streamtime.
Yeah.
And vote for your favorite t-shirts. I'm going to make some awesome t-shirts happen, and they will be available at TDC.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about TDC? Because I haven't been, but I'm looking forward to it.
No, it's awesome. I've been to, this will be my third TDC. TDC is the design conference, if we've only been abbreviating that one today. I'm not too sure. It's awesome. It's essentially a really big 2-3 day party, kind of. I've been the last couple of years, and essentially they bring in designers, illustrators, artists, just creatives generally from all over the globe. And they do really well to showcase a lot of Australian talent as well, a lot of lesser known names, which is really cool. People who are just part of the community here, and giving them a platform to just present what they do and talk about their lives. It's much more holistic than rather showcasing, 3 different projects that person's particularly worked on. They do a really good job to kind of champion who the person is that's actually doing the work and talk about their life and the struggles. One of the things that you always kind of find at TDC is that you often hear very confronting stories. It's quite interesting. It's quite emotional, but it's a lot of fun because you spend these days hearing these amazing people talk, and then you get to meet them because it's a very lowbrow atmosphere in terms of there's no VIP area or anything. Everyone's kind of in there together in the same space. You're mingling and you're talking to the people who you've just seen speak. It's really awesome, and it's just a lot of fun because Matt Haynes is the man who runs that whole operation, and props to Matt because it's a serious operation. So he works really hard, but he very much sets the tone for the conference. He just wants everyone to have a good time, and it is. Everyone kind of gets amongst it, and you always come back in need of a bit of sleep, but having had a really fun few days in Brisbane. So if you haven't been before, I'd certainly suggest making the trip up this year. Even if you're not doing anything in a few weeks' time, why not? Just go up for a weekend, bring a mate, bring someone from work. It'll be fun. We'll catch you there.
Sounds like fun.
We're proud to support it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been supporting it for a few years now, so it's awesome to be a part of that community.
There's some questions, but I can't read them.
Me neither.
I'm gonna have to.
You might have to come.
I'm gonna read them. Don't worry. Hi, Frankie. Hi, Andy.
Hey,
Oh,
Frankie.
it's Andy. Hi, Frankie. You ever need a tester? I'm putting my hands up. Oh, that'd be
Awesome.
great, Frankie.
Thanks so
I
much,
think we've
Frankie.
spoken before. I think you tested before for us. It'd be
Cool.
great
Cool.
to see you again.
So,
Also with the TDC, we're actually going to be there for a few days. So if some of you are in Brisbane or around that area, you want to catch up, we're always happy to catch up with you guys. Have a coffee or a beer,
for sure,
whatever works.
For sure.
So what's coming up next?
That's the most exciting part.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah, oh, you read my mind. Let's jump into the last 10 minutes here and let's talk about roadmap. So what's going to be happening in Streamtime? What have you guys been working on?
Well,
maybe before we look.
Yeah, we've got an action-packed 6 months. So the first kind of 3 months of this year has been a lot of research. So we've been out there interviewing users, chatted to Frankie, chatted to lots of people, and all that research is basically going to inform the design work for the next 6 months. And we've got a really ambitious road plan and looking to do a lot of releases over the next kind of 4 to 6 months, with one very big one around late August. So that's sort of kind of top secret at the moment, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of details coming out about that over the coming months. So first kind of cab off the rank that we're looking at is, we're actually working on 2 things. So first of all, partial invoicing. So a huge amount of users that we spoke to want to be able to bill, send them invoices, and break those invoices down over stages. The product currently doesn't allow that at the moment, and that's something we were looking to rectify. So Sarah's been doing a lot of work on that. And then the second thing is relooking at our scheduling capability. We actually want to introduce the ability to plan out your job on a timeline in a Gantt chart fashion, like in a real simple but really powerful way. So that's one of the big things that we're going to be looking at as well.
Awesome. And I think I might have found a sketch file with
Digging around on the cell.
a few graphics which you might be able to share. But this is going to be coming out soon, and this is the referral program, which we've been working pretty hard towards. I think you guys kind of spearheaded this project a couple months ago, and it's awesome to see how it's turned out. There was heaps of research and work that kind of went into it. So do you maybe want to just chat for a couple of minutes on what the referral program will look like and how it's going to work?
Well, I'll introduce it and then Sarah can talk through it. But basically, a lot of people love using us, which is amazing, and they recommend us to a friend. And we wanted to say thanks for recommending us. So we've kind of developed a bit of a referral program, and you'll basically, if you refer us to your friends and your friends sign up, we're going to reward you and say thanks for doing that. So this is on screen now is the interface.
Yeah, so I think I've forgotten if we're releasing how big the release is. We're doing one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the next release, you'll be able to see, there'll be an extra thing on your sidebar, which will take you to your referral dashboard, where you'll get a unique link. There it is.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes,
Well, you'll be able to share a unique link any way you want, so through email or sharing on social. If one of your friends or workmates signs up to Streamtime, you'll get a number of points, and those points will count towards being able to kind of redeem them for certain prizes. So I think when we kicked it off, we did a survey on what were incentives that people wanted to get for sharing Streamtime, not just
one of the webinars actually.
Yeah, and it was. We didn't want to just go, okay, you get 10% off, your usual referral program. We wanted to make it a bit more interesting. So we got some great feedback on that. So there are 3 different rewards there on the screen at the moment, but there will be different levels of rewards, so you can sort of redeem those points like you're a frequent Streamtime. I just made that up on the fly. Anyway, and you'll see on your right there will be a sort of stats board and who's clicked your link, who's sort of started to look at the product on the free as a free sign up, free trial, and then when someone subscribes to a paid plan, then you'll get some special stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Sounds really good.
And obviously there's going to be an entirely different experience for the person that gets referred to, right?
Yeah, so the person that gets referred basically gets, if they subscribe within 30 days of that referral, then they're going to get an awesome discount, Streamtime team-wide, no matter how many users they're going to put on the plan. And then also as a little thank you for kind of pushing that change through in their business, we're going to give them an individual reward as well. So it works on kind of a couple of levels there. So this is all coming to your Streamtime very soon.
Next week.
So if you're recommending us to your friends, hold off for a week and you can do it through this and you can get rewards.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And before we do wrap up, can we do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
How long have we got? 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Cool. Just need designer's permission before I.
This is the first time I'm seeing it as well. It's so cool.
Things. Okay, cool. I am just going to open up this.
Yeah.
Share it. Okay, cool. So, what have we got here?
Yeah. So this is got to preface this by saying this is very early wireframes and initial design exploration, but this is basically where we want to take the Jumbotron in the job page. So at the moment on your job page, you have the Jumbotron, which has the stats and the burn-up graph for each job. So imagine that is one section of the Jumbotron, and then you'd basically move to a timeline view. So all that info would scroll across, and you're basically going to be presented with a way to visually plan out your project on a real simple, kind of fast, lightweight Gantt chart. And you'll be able to just work directly into that area, paint on your tasks. So it'll be at an item level. So you'll be able to plan out your items and break down those items into sub-items and visually map that out on that timeline, and then assign people to certain tasks. And then what we want to do is be able to put milestones in, so you can track when deadlines are due, when you need to present work to your client, all that kind of stuff. So you'll get little milestones within those timelines. And then we're also looking at dependencies as well, because we know that all those projects, the way you plan your project is dependent on, say, the client signing off the piece of work at a certain date, or getting your photos back from the photographer at this certain date. And you can't move your project forward until you have these dependencies delivered to you. So talking to a lot of people, it's frustrating if something gets blown out or moved out and you have to individually shift each of those timeline rows. We don't want to do that. We want everything to have like kind of dependencies. So something blows out, you shift one thing, and then everything else updates based on that. So we're basically going out and talking to lots of our customers about the way they schedule, finding out exactly the nuances when it comes to actually planning a job at that job level, and then our design's basically going to be a response to that and solving those pain points for our users. So it's going to be an awesome, like, real lightweight way to just visually kind of see your job, how it's tracking, and what you have to do next.
Awesome.
That looks really good.
And how do you prioritize what goes on the roadmap? What's coming up next?
Sorry.
There's lots of things that go into it. So mainly it will be what do users want most next, and the schedule has been something that has been asked about quite a lot. Not just this job timeline part of the schedule, but also looking at the jobs schedule page in the schedule. Can I say that any more times? Part of the product. So that is a high priority for us. Partial invoicing has been a massive one that users have asked for or requested. So yeah, they're the two upcoming priorities, and that's from customer feedback and then internal conversations and how we're going to plan and when we want to launch and how we can release. But we also have a public roadmap at streamtime.roadmap.space. So you can go to that site, check out what is in our pipeline and what's coming up next and what we're considering. So you can then clap certain things or follow certain stories and see how they're going. And when we see that there's lots of feedback on those stories, or when you talk to our customer success team and tell them, that all feeds back into the same place. So that's one way that we collate feedback, and then we take it in to the team and see what is feasible when, plan out our timeline.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's it, guys. I think it was
so
really
quick.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming and joining us this morning. It takes a bit of a pressure off me and Patty, constantly talking about,
It's nice to mix it up.
Yeah, and it was nice to know what's coming next, and even for myself. Thanks so much for joining, and stay tuned for the new release.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.